Hello there, students. Welcome back to our English class. Today is Writing Day. Today's lesson is on myth. Materials needed: your reader's and writer's notebook and your pencil. Today's objectives: define myth, classify different types of myths, read and illustrate a myth, and summarize the key characters and events from a myth. Do you remember the story, How Night Came from the Sea? It's a myth. Let's recall the story. Why do we have day and night? A Brazilian legend says there was always daylight on earth until the African goddess Imanja's daughter left her ocean home to marry a land dweller. When Imanja's daughter became homesick for the cool, shadowy world under the sea, her mother sent some of the darkness up to her, and now we have night on land as well as day. Myths are stories that people tell to explain their beliefs about their lives and the world around them. In addition to that, the myths tell us how the world and the creatures in it manage to have their present form. The active characters in myths are generally gods and heroes. Now let's take up the types of myths. First, creation myths. Creation myths describe how the earth or a group of people came to be. Next, nature myths. Nature myths describe why something in nature is the way it is. Hero myths. Hero myths describe the quest of a hero or a heroine. 4. Greek and Roman myths. Greek and Roman myths describe the actions of gods and goddesses. Now let's read page 201 of the Reader's and Writer's Notebook. Myth of how Finn made day and night. Now let's read the story. How Finn made day and night. Long ago, there was a young giant named Finn who lived in the sky. When she was only 2 million years old, Finn was big enough to toss the sun through a hoop and throw the moon up and catch it. Once, she tied a string around the planet and turned it into a yo-yo. Another time, she batted the planet so far away that she never found it again. Finn's favorite toy was Earth, which she loved to spin like a top. Sometimes she carried Earth in her pocket, where it was dark. Other times she left Earth too, close to the sun, and burned the tops of its mountains. The creatures on Earth never knew what to expect. However, as Finn grew older, she began to build clever structures with these heavenly bodies. She built herself a mobile for her room with the sun in the center, and with each planet on a track that circled it. She loved to watch the planets go round and round at different speeds. As it happens, Earth did a full spin every 24 hours. As Earth traveled around the sun, the half that faced the sun was light, while the half faced that faced away from the sun was dark. Finally, there was something that creatures of Earth could depend on. They began to call light time day and dark time night. To this day, the mobile is one of Finn's favorite toys. Now let's answer the questions. What does this myth explain about nature? It tells why day and night occur in a regular pattern. It describes how the rotation of Earth around the sun creates lightness and darkness. Number 2. What important role does the giant fin play in the myth? Only a creature so large could play with the sun and the planets as if they were tops. Now, based from the story, now you can point out the important features of a myth. 1. Passed down by word of mouth and storytelling. 2. Often explains why something in nature happens. 3. Characters usually represent some part of nature. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you for listening.